Some women tread a fine line between anger and insanity. A jealous lover sends her rival a bitter warning.
You mess with me and my man, I'm coming after you.
A fragile teenager
Is that a secret?
wreaks fiery revenge.
This is a 17-year-old damaged girl making really bad decisions.
And a doctor prescribes a radical cure for her problems.
It was a recipe for disaster.
These deadly women know how to punish their enemies. But are they mad or bad? Connecticut, 2007. 33-year-old Morgan Amore is entangled in an exciting love affair.
Morgan met a young man by the name of Daryl Smith, became involved with him romantically.
This is not your run-of-the-mill romance.
The relationship was not just a boyfriend-girlfriend, it was more in bondage and slavery.
Clean him.
Yes, Master.
She was the slave. She wore a collar.
Thank you, Master.
Undress.
He tells her what to do, and she does it.
This was a role I think she was probably very happy to play. She would do anything to please Daryl. Anything to be in his life.
After 10 years of pleasing her master, Morgan wants to be more than Daryl's slave.
Have you thought more about moving in?
No.
She wants to be his wife.
She even changed her last name to match his.
I changed my name. I'm Morgan Smith now.
I think she did it to merge with Daryl and pretend to be his wife.
But in Daryl's eyes, that was not going to happen.
It doesn't matter what you do. You're never gonna be my wife.
Morgan has one bond with Daryl that can't be broken.
I wish your dad could see you.
Their daughter.
Let's call him.
Her goal was to have them all three as a big, happy family.
But they never lived together or had any kind of family.
Hey there. When are you coming to see us?
Daryl doesn't see his lover as the marrying kind.
But we miss you.
They had a child in common, and he didn't want nothing to do with her anymore.
He's just busy.
That's okay, Mom. I'm just gonna try my new top.
In 2008, Daryl creates even more distance between them by moving 1,000 miles away. In Northport, Florida, he meets someone he will commit to. 44-year-old Andrea Stranko.
It was a pretty deep relationship. I mean, they spent a lot of time together.
To success.
Daryl wants to make a clean break from Morgan. But this slave doesn't want to be freed.
It's her again. Hi, is everything all right?
I'm moving down to Florida.
She wanted to come down and build their life together.
But I've told you I don't want you to.
He told her several times not to come down to Florida. Please stay up where you're at.
Near you.
This has nothing to do with her.
but she refused.
Well, we're moving.
She wanted to be closer to him.
Within a year, Morgan follows her lover south.
She just one day decided to pack up and drive down with all her worldly belongings in the back seat of the car, and including her daughter.
She had this fantasy that her and Daryl and her daughter would be living as a family.
Daryl doesn't want to play happy families with Morgan.
Here you go. Thanks.
But he has a duty to his daughter.
She's your daughter. She needs to see you.
Yeah, I know.
When Morgan came to town, Daryl and she decided that they were going to spend time together in aid of raising their daughter.
Yeah, she's got to see her daddy.
Daryl comes up with a satisfying solution.
Well, do you two think you can share him?
What?
I can.
There was a agreement that Daryl was trying to work both a life with Andrea and a life with Morgan.
It's the only solution.
Daryl thought he could spend Christmas with one woman, Super Bowl Sunday with the other, Mondays with one, Wednesdays with another.
I'm so pleased.
This love triangle is fraught with danger. The cozy arrangement soon becomes crowded.
It didn't work for very long. Morgan wasn't happy with it. She asked to meet with Andrea to discuss the situation.
Morgan Smith and Andrea Stranko try to work things out.
Morgan is no longer in the mood for sharing.
She became very, very angry, not at him, but at Andrea Stranko, and she thought the way to solve that problem was, and I quote, beat her up a little bit.
During this conversation, Morgan actually raised the hatchet and hit Andrea on the shoulder.
Morgan is sending Andrea a message. You mess with me and my man, you gotta deal with this hatchet. I'm coming after you. Let this be a warning.
Andrea is not seriously hurt, but Daryl is furious.
That was the final straw. He felt that she was getting out of control.
He cuts off all communication with Morgan.
This relationship with Daryl defined who she was. Once he said it was over, her whole world, all the air came out of it. She couldn't breathe anymore.
Valentine's Day, 2010, in Northport, Florida. Daryl Smith's lawn is littered with love tokens.
Daryl woke up in the morning to find several plastic doves in his front yard.
The romantic gesture is not from his partner, Andrea, but from his ex-lover, Morgan Smith.
She put those in his front yard, telling him that she was pregnant.
She was a person who was able to manipulate people and did so very, very well.
36-year-old Morgan is trying to lure Daryl back into her life. But her plan fails.
It ended up being false. She was not pregnant.
Morgan moves to plan B. March 28th, 2010. Daryl is celebrating his birthday with his 46-year-old girlfriend, Andrea Stranko, and their friends.
Daryl Smith and Andrea Stranko were at a neighbor's. It was Daryl's birthday party, and I guess it got rather lively.
Out on the street is an unexpected guest.
Morgan is outside, in the car, stewing, listening.
While she was waiting in the car, she had cracked her window down just enough to hear outside. And she could hear Andrea Stranko yelling and partying.
So funny. Daryl, tell Peter the one about the dog. You know the dog?
And you know what? This is too much for Morgan to take.
Morgan waits patiently for her prey.
She worked herself up into such a pitch that by the time Daryl and Andrea left the party and walked next door to Daryl's house, she hopped out of the car with the gun.
She just went on total autopilot. She approached from the side in the darkness. And fired one round. And one round had gone through Daryl Smith's arm.
Help!
And the buckshot pellets struck Andrea.
Andrea!
Some of the pellets hit her in the throat and cut her veins and arteries, and she bled to death.
If a person wants to make a statement and make sure that their target dies, they would use a shotgun.
Morgan doesn't hide from her crime.
She was calm, striking enough after what she just did. She was very calm, and she was willing to talk.
And she confesses everything, from start to finish, not leaving any detail untold.
I think she was proud of what she did.
Charged with murder, Morgan Smith pleads not guilty by reason of insanity. She is diagnosed with borderline personality disorder.
Morgan Smith has a clinical history of depression, of borderline personality disorder. It's like from the moment she was born, she was headed towards this dark path.
Well, do you two think you can share?
Morgan claims her love turned to obsession.
Part of borderline personality disorder is that you pull people to you, you cling to people, and you need them desperately.
But her troubled mind does not excuse her brutal actions.
She said two things are paramount in overcoming the insanity defense. She didn't want to go to jail. That shows that she understands the consequences of her behavior. And that she didn't want to leave her daughter alone. So she did have a moral compass.
In September 2011, a jury convicts Morgan Smith of first-degree murder. The bondage mistress is again robbed of her freedom, sentenced to life in prison.
Morgan may have had fantasies of living happily ever after with Daryl and their daughter after Andrea was out of the way, but fantasies are happy thoughts that an individual controls. She was not psychotic. She knew what she was doing, she planned it, and she didn't try to hide from it.
Mama!
When a woman is pushed to the edge,
she had been so victimized and so messed up.
Trapped with no way of escape.
She was desperate.
Those closest to her should beware.
Most people have no idea what hot flames does to a body.
1967, in the rural town of Greenwood, Indiana. 9-year-old Sarah White, Cindy to those who know and love her, vies for the attention of her parents.
Cindy was one of 6 children. Her mother was a severe alcoholic. Cindy did not have much love, much attention.
when her father, Earl, wants to spend time with her.
Hurry up, Cindy. We can't be late for work.
Cindy is happy.
What good's a girl gonna be?
Shut your mouth, boy.
She had felt like the special child because he had asked her to accompany her when he was fixing cars. He thought that that was a very special thing.
But Cindy is chosen for all the wrong reasons.
You tell, and you'll never see your family again. You hear me?
From an early age, her father made sexual advances to her. And eventually they progressed to the point of actual vaginal intercourse.
This was her early and obviously twisted introduction to what a love relationship was.
Betrayed by the man who should protect her, and a mother blinded by drink, Cindy has nowhere to turn.
There never seemed to be any safe place or any person that she ever could rely on.
It's a horribly traumatic thing for any child to endure.
In her late teens, Cindy's life goes from bad to crippling.
Mama! Mama! Help! I can't walk.
One day she woke up and was literally paralyzed in one of her legs.
Her mother took her to the doctor. The doctor could not find a reason for it and recommended that she go to a psychiatric hospital.
For some reason, Cindy's body has shut down. Doctors believe it is not physical. It's all in her mind.
Stress, psychological stress, emotional stress, converts to a physical symptom. In Cindy's case, her leg was paralyzed.
As if that was the way she could get herself protected. It was her body's way of defending her psyche.
Away from her father, Cindy is finally safe.
You know, you can tell me if there's anything worrying you.
But she still can't divulge her sordid secret.
And at no time do the records show that she was ever asked about, was there any sexual abuse?
After a year of treatment, Cindy is well enough to return home. That's the last place she wants to be. The teenager is thrown a lifeline by neighborhood friends Charles and Carol Roberson.
Cindy had a paper route when she was 14 or 15 years old, and the Robersons were part of the paper route, and they got to know her.
Are you gonna say hello? Hello. Hi. Can I play?
The Robersons offer Cindy a job as a live-in nanny for their 4 young children.
When the Robersons came along and offered to take her, the psychiatric staff probably thought, well, this is a blessing in disguise. How nice for Cindy that these wonderful people want to employ her in their home.
The Robersons are a bright light in Cindy's dark world.
Cindy was very happy to be the nanny, or she loved the children very much.
She liked caring for children because in a lot of ways she was on their level.
But Cindy's happily ever after is about to come crashing down.
She never should have been discharged from the hospital to go live with the Robersons.
What do you think?
She's perfect.
This was not a good plan. No one knew what was really brewing.
1975, Greenwood, Indiana. 17-year-old Cindy White is given the chance of a new life with the Roberson family.
Cindy's role was as sort of a nanny to the kids and tending of the house.
An unexpected offer, considering Cindy's troubled past.
Young women become nannies all the time, but not young women who spent the last year of their life in a psychiatric hospital.
Cindy soon finds out it's not her babysitting skills Charles Roberson wants.
As soon as Cindy started working for the Roberson family, Mr. Roberson got amorous with her.
She, at first, couldn't believe that anybody would even pay attention to her. And she started to interpret the flirting as somebody caring about her.
Love notes are only the beginning. Soon, Cindy's old wounds are reopened.
Is that a secret, huh?
Yeah. She realized it was wrong when it progressed to molestation on a regular basis, which was no different than what she experienced with her father.
I think Cindy was being groomed by child molesters.
Smile, Cindy.
Cindy is hoping for help from the only maternal figure left in her life.
Don't worry. Carol is mine.
She had no idea then that the foster mother would be participating in the molestation.
Mr. Roberson wasn't keeping a secret from Mrs. Roberson. This is something that the two of them were jointly involved in.
With no one left to trust, the teenager is trapped in this depraved world.
She was ashamed. She was victimized.
She didn't know what to do. Every person she'd ever gone to for help let her down.
There is no way out. Until December 1975, when Cindy forms a plan.
Cindy had a conversation with her sister. There had been a fire at the grandmother's. The house burned down.
Oh no, is everyone okay?
But everybody got out all right.
Good.
This led Cindy's thinking to the place of saying, that's how I could escape what's happening to me here. If I set a small fire here, it will smoke up this house, and I will be able to leave.
And suddenly, this sounded like a good way to escape.
New Year's Eve, 1975. Cindy has made one resolution: to escape her house of horrors.
You have to realize this is a 17-year-old damaged girl making really bad decisions.
She took some newspaper and crumpled it up and put it behind a recliner in the living room near the Christmas tree and set fire to it.
Fire, though, quickly got out of control.
She had no idea that it was going to spread so rapidly. She became very concerned about the children.
Cindy tries to warn the Robersons.
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! The house is on fire!
She screamed for the family and tried to get them out.
Wake up! Wake up!
She ran into the back bedroom and found the mother, along with her children. Mrs. Robeson said to her, "Quick, open the window, and I will hand the children out to you." What I suspect happened was something called a backdraft explosion. When oxygen rushes in suddenly to an oxygen-deprived environment, it adds fuel to the fire. Cindy would have been tossed through the window.
Pass me the kid! Carol!
When she realized that people were not coming out of the house, she tried to go back in the house.
It's too dangerous!
The kids are in there!
Come back!
Carol! Carol!
And was detained by neighbors.
The kids!
Their last moments were filled with terror, concern, and shock.
The entire family perishes in the blaze.
Carol! The kids! The kids are in there!
The fire was investigated, and it did not take them long to determine that it was arson.
Suspicion falls on the lone survivor.
While processing the crime scene, police found Mr. Roberson's wallet. And in the wallet, they found what they called love letters, written by Cindy to Mr. Roberson.
You are a beautiful girl.
As well as naked photos of her. The police and prosecutors determined that it was an affair gone wrong and that it was a multiple murder motivated by revenge.
Cindy is charged with 6 counts of murder. Even on trial, she won't divulge her secret shame.
All of Cindy's sexual abuse in her childhood was overlooked. The reasons that Cindy did this were overlooked.
In May 1976, Cindy White is convicted of 6 counts of first-degree murder by arson. She is sentenced to 6 concurrent terms of life.
The last thing Cindy wanted was for those little children to die.
After 10 years behind bars, Cindy finally reveals her secrets, her abusive past.
There were 6 lives lost, and she is desperately remorseful about the loss of those lives.
It doesn't change her sentence. Cindy White will never be released.
Cindy is responsible for setting that house on fire and for those 6 people dying. But many, many other people in Cindy's past, people she trusted and were supposed to take care of her, put the match in her hand.
A brilliant mind.
Kathleen accomplished a tremendous amount in her life.
Can conjure wicked thoughts.
She believes she's going to take them to another world.
And unspeakable acts.
When they peeled the blanket back, they were both dead.
In 1973, Boston, Massachusetts. 28-year-old Dr. Kathleen Hagen is making groundbreaking steps in her career.
She was a very accomplished, pioneering woman. She went to Harvard Medical School at a time when very few women were in any medical school.
She then became the first female resident in urology at Massachusetts General Hospital, very prestigious institution.
We'd like to offer you the position, Kathleen.
Thank you.
It's quite an achievement being the first woman.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Kathleen is happily shattering the glass ceiling.
Academically and the start of her career was flawless.
I think she took great pride in her own success story.
Not everyone is so proud of Kathleen's achievements.
I have the most wonderful news.
I hope it's worth my supper getting cold.
She felt that she did not get the love that she needed from her parents. She never felt that she pleased them enough.
The only child is desperate to impress her strict father.
I got the job. I'm the first female doctor in the department.
Oh, that's wonderful.
But James Hagen is a tough cookie.
Now we'll have to see if you can actually do it.
She needed to achieve to feel good about herself. Maybe it's because that didn't come from her parents.
Kathleen is all the more determined to succeed. She continues her climb to the top.
Kathleen Hagen accomplished a tremendous amount in her life.
She rises to the head of the urology department.
Kathleen, the meeting started.
There are not enough hours.
Despite her hectic career, Kathleen still finds time for love.
What are you doing here? We thought we could get some lunch.
In 1983, she marries handsome engineer William Tyrell.
I wish. You can walk me to my meeting.
Pleasure.
She is certainly trying to juggle a lot of balls, so to speak, in her personal life.
Their joy is short-lived. As the stress builds up, Kathleen comes crashing down.
I think she tried to keep it very secretive, that she had difficulty dealing in certain situations.
The doctor is now a patient.
She was diagnosed in adulthood with a severe mental illness, bipolar disorder.
After 2 months of treatment, Kathleen is well enough to return to work. But it's a wake-up call for the couple.
That's lovely, but I've got time to stop.
5 minutes.
Come on.
William decides his wife needs a change.
Could we? Why not?
He and Kathleen embark on a new life.
She gave it all up to run to the Virgin Islands and run a hotel.
For 2 years, the couple is happy in the Virgin Islands. What begins as paradise turns into hell.
Hurricane Hugo hits the Virgin Islands, wipes out the hotel and her investment.
Financially crippled, the couple is forced to return to New Jersey. Once again, Kathleen thinks she's failed in her father's eyes.
It was a wild idea.
It was the storms.
You should have stuck to what you know.
She becomes unstable.
Can't do anything right.
As a result of stress.
Oh, don't be so dramatic.
Kathleen is heading for another perfect storm.
This was at a point in her life when she was on a downward spiral. It was a recipe for disaster.
Late one night in 1996, Chatham, New Jersey. Kathleen Hagen is all dressed up for her husband's birthday.
I'm here for my husband's birthday. You know William?
She decided to go to a bar that he frequented, and she said she was going to strip and dance on the bar.
But this birthday party is all in her mind. William is not at the bar, and he is no longer her husband. The couple has separated.
You know William, hey, we're gonna celebrate.
Kathleen's mental illness is taking over.
So here we are again at this point in her life where she's having major stressors. It's a bizarre episode, enough that the police are called.
Hey, no, we're just gonna celebrate.
The doctor is plummeting to an all-time low.
If someone suffering from bipolar disorder is not under the treatment of a physician, there's a good chance their life is going to deteriorate. Their relationships, their careers, everything.
By 1999, Kathleen is divorced and unemployed. The 53-year-old must move back in with her aging parents. James and Idella give their daughter an icy reception.
It was Mrs. Hagen's birthday, and the doctor said, Mom, I'd like to make you a cake.
I'm gonna make you a birthday cake.
I don't want one. Don't bother.
Mom, it's a gift.
And she said, I'll throw that cake on the floor if you make it.
I'll throw it on the floor if you do.
That was very upsetting to her, that her mother would say something like that to her.
She was really hoping that they would accept her and show, I think, some more loving toward her, but it didn't happen.
The former shining light of the medical world is reclusive, irrational, and living in her parents' basement.
She's not sleeping, she's not eating.
Insomnia can contribute to someone in a bipolar mania becoming psychotic, and that's what happened to Kathleen.
Kathleen needs intervention, but there is none.
When you have someone who's in a psychotic episode, they are in an altered state of reality. They do not know what they're doing or the effect of what they're doing.
In August 2000, Kathleen plans to put an end to her troubles.
Kathleen had a need that was only expressed when she was psychotic: to kill her parents. It made sense to her at the time. It always does.
Her parents were asleep. They each had twin beds in the same room. And she did her father first because she felt he would be stronger and more likely to fight. She put the pillow over his face and she suffocates him.
Her 92-year-old mother is next.
When she was smothering the mother, she stated that the mother's hand was moving while she was doing it. Her mother was trying to fight from it.
Because of her advanced medical knowledge, she knew how to do it quickly and effectively. And they both died.
Kathleen's parents can no longer judge her. She spends quality time with them.
It is estimated she stayed with them possibly 4 to 7 days in the same house. She was out of her mind, delusional. She was hearing voices. She did certain things, including walking backwards, that she could join her parents in the sphere. It sounds like a little girl who wanted to be with the parents who never loved her.
On August 26, 2000, Kathleen finally snaps out of her trance and calmly makes a call.
I've done something very bad. My parents are dead.
She called the police directly.
It's my fault.
And she stated something to the effect of, "It's all my fault."
Kathleen is arrested and admits her guilt. Her murder trial is brief.
Kathleen was found to be insane at the time she committed the crime.
In February 2002, Dr. Kathleen Hagen is found not guilty by reason of insanity and committed to a psychiatric institution. After 6 years, Kathleen is ruled to be free of psychosis and is released.
Professionals rule that she doesn't have any more suicidal or homicidal ideations, and she can live back in the community, and I support that.
A woman dedicated to saving people stole the lives of those closest to her. She was unable to cope with their rejection.
It's sad enough for a child to grow up believing that they're not loved or appreciated by their parents. It's even sadder that that child becomes afflicted with a severe mental illness and kills their parents and has to live with that. Bipolar disorder destroyed her life.
These deadly women were all damaged goods. Morgan Smith was a slave to her obsession. Cindy White's abusive past sparked a senseless crime. And Kathleen Hagen's brilliant career was stifled by a fear of failure. Their minds were tainted. Lives were destroyed. The result was the same, whether they were mad or bad.